I smile because I don't know how many times I've tried to do this, and I'll keep trying until it works. I have an amazing story to tell about our souls, about how they reincarnate, how we all have so much to offer to the world and to each other. I have a story. My name is Elizabeth, and I have a story to tell. I actually died in 2010, June 20th of 2010. I don't want to go into that experience because I have other videos, but during that experience I was told and shown a great deal of things. I didn't remember any of those things until the spring of 2020 when I heard the words COVID-19. When I heard the words COVID-19, it was like being zapped in the brain. It was like, phew. I mean, it was like that for real though too. And it was like fingers. I even wrote about it. It was like fingers were touching my brain, and I know I'm not crazy. All these things started happening to me. I think I must have like blocked it out or something, the whole death experience, or just forgot it. I'm not sure. But it was a 10-year gap. And then it was, I can't, I wish I could relate to you how powerful it was to hear the words COVID-19 and social distancing. I've been a reader my whole life, and when I heard and saw the words, I don't watch the news, but like I would see it online or whatever, and it was like there was literally somebody else talking to my brain saying something's not right about those words. They felt wrong, and then my mind got compelled to do all kinds of things. It takes a minute to tell you about it, but I'll get there. And I have made so many videos, and I'm going to try to get all the pieces into one video. So I guess I will touch on how the death happened. I had been on a great deal of medication for back and body degenerative disease, talking heavy duty. My doctor, my family physician, tried quite a lot of things: Valium, Norco, fentanyl patches. I don't know. I don't even remember, like Lyrica, all kinds of stuff. But what had happened was, at the time, I was taking Oxycontin prescribed by my family physician, and well, I guess I didn't realize how worthwhile they were to people who would want to, abuse them, and that happened. So my medication went missing, and I started to have withdrawals. And for anybody who might have had similar experience, don't feel bad, or anybody. I'm just saying. Anyway, I had withdrawals, and the withdrawals made me feel like I was going to die. So somebody that I knew offered, or we got some heroin, and I used it. That I was gone, just gone. And so that happened, and I was gone for as long as I think somebody can be. I didn't get any Narcan or anything because it was quite a gap before the ambulance people got there. I don't know how long, 7 minutes or something. I don't know. But when you're gone, to be gone from here is to be present elsewhere. At least for me, it was. For people who have real souls, and I think it is for everybody. There are some things surrounding us that aren't real souls. They are, when the Creator created, He created both divine souls, like you and I, human beings. But there was also a creation of other things, but those things, they had their place. But anyway, when I died, I met a lot of these things. I had a lot of meetings and a lot of words, and I, I answered a lot of questions. I answered who they already knew. That's the thing. When I say they, it was the Creator, other beings. If you've seen the movie The Soul, the beings are like it's like when you watch a space movie and they're doing the computers on the screen, the stuff just appears. It's like holographic, I guess, or part of their makeup, that they can be anything and everything. Now our souls, because of the sins of Adam and Eve, the very first soul. Now I know the Bible tells it one way, and the people will have a certain understanding of what it is that story is telling. That isn't really quite the truth. The way that the Bible tells it, they tell it as like, if you think about it, here in America anyway, they teach the Bible, and it's like they're teaching it to a little child, a class of 3-year-olds. Here, Adam and Eve, there was a creator, and he created a man, put him to sleep, made a woman out of his rib. Then they were just what? And then the lady was by herself in the talking to what? Being tempted by a serpent. So if the creator created and the man and the woman were together as one soul, how did she come to be walking in the garden by herself? Has anybody ever thought about that? Because the Bible says they literally were one flesh. So anyway, what was told to me when I went from here to there, it's weird to say, I don't want to say died, because I didn't really die. That should bring lots of hope to people who have lost loved ones, such as myself. I have 92, lost my younger sister, 19, to suicide. 93, October 93, my mom to inoperable lung cancer. A niece to me that was like my daughter. So many young people around me, through my children, seen them drop like flies due to the heroin epidemic, just across the universe, across the planet. And there's no denying that that's purposeful. Anybody who has done their research will know that there's a plan with drugs. Something in the water just doesn't compute. But I'm here to help you understand why that is. When I transcended, I don't know if it happens to everybody the same way. I can only speak for me. When I was there, I was humiliated because I was there from an overdose. I answered questions about me. But this is the thing. And this is the thing, and I hope I don't sound boastful, and I say it with a humble heart. I'm pretty sure the reason that I'm able to share this with you now is because I know. Nobody can really bring anything towards me that I'm not either have already copped to or asked for forgiveness for with my creator, or, you know, uh, anything that I did that I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing, just through heart, through intuition, through that voice, from the time I can remember, always told me what was right or wrong, and I'm pretty sure everybody has it. The Creator lives in all of us, so you have to have it, whether you can hear it or not, or whether you're tuned into it or not. I'm here to try to help you learn how to tune into that. And even if you're reading your Bible, or like, I'm not here to sell that. I'm not. That's not. It's corrupted, and it's being told in a Back to the Future kind of way. It's been like arsenic. It's been laced with lies and confusing words. But you know what? All of those things have been disclosed to me, and I have a lot of things to share with you guys. And the things that I'm going to be sharing, there's a huge unraveling right now. The New World Order, the darker powers that find themselves in the earth, they are really coming undone right now, and they think that they have an ace in their pocket that they don't. However, with the things that I'm going to disclose to you, it's not just about what I'm going to teach you, it's about what you have to do with it from there, because this truth that's coming out of me, you're going to know is truth. I'm not here to beg you to change your mind on. You'll know if you've ever looked for truth. I'm here to provide it for you the best that I can. And man, I would fall on my face and cry if I knew I was telling you a lie. that just doesn't come out of my mouth. Trust and believe. This stuff that I'm saying is going to sound weird. Some it's going to sound cool to you guys too, like it does to me, but it's sinister what they're planning. And I need you guys to understand, I'm not here to talk about religion. I'm not here to say this or that or any of that, because it's not my story. I don't even, like, I don't use the word religion. I tried it. I was introduced to it when I was in jail for 15 days, like around the time my mom and sister died. I got some drunk drivings and I was in jail for 15 days, and I got saved, and I heard the word and I heard the spark in my heart, and I wanted it because I had 3 kids and I wanted a leader for my family. Like, I did, you know, I did. And so, like, when the people came in and talked, something sparked my heart. So I did all that. I got baptized, water, churches. I went to every kind of church there was. I went to Kingdom Hall. I went to Catholic churches. I went to non-denominational. I took my family, who looks like me. You can't really tell what race I am, I'm sure. But we went to what one would call an all-black church, because you know what? I felt some spirit there and I didn't care. So the 4 of us walked in there, and I was chasing the spirit. I was chasing the feeling. I was chasing the God, and I couldn't seem to find it anywhere. I kept looking and trying, and but the real places that I found it was in me and in nature and in my kids and my grandchildren and in looking at the stars and praying and meditating. Because, see, when the Creator created the first souls, and there was the sin, that soul broke into like pieces, fractals, your grandparents, your grandparents' parents, everybody is a piece of this. Think about a snow globe. If you shake up a snow globe, all the little pieces, they're still in there. They say a woman has so many eggs in her ovaries, and isn't it nice, we're on Mother's Day, that all the eggs that you have are predetermined. Well, all the if I'm remembering correctly, all the souls that there were predetermined as well. And that's why the souls have been for sale. That's why the story has been told the way that it has, because there's been the deviant, dark undertone of slavery and mixing races and denying races and everything. I'll explain it to you. Now, when I took accountability for myself that day that I passed and everything, I met a person who stood before me with the very image of Prince Rogers Nelson. The very first person that I saw opened a door, and it was like Prince with a fro. And I just said, "Oh, I didn't know it was you." And he said, "Yeah, that's what everybody says." And he turned around and walked away. And then I went through all these other places and levels. And I believe, you had to answer certain questions to get to certain levels. And all of your life is you have to account for. There's books, and to the best of my recollection, I'm always honest, so I don't want to be like, oh, I was so honest. I pray that I'm saying the right words. That when I asked what was the question to life and why was the world so dark and so covered with politicians and this was in 2010, so dark, and nobody would ever improve and nothing would ever improve except for the same old, same old. And I was shown a lot of things. I read portions of the Book of Enoch, and a lot of what I was shown is like that, only I can't recall it, like, but I can see it. I made maps and drawings in my sleep. Over the last year, a small library has been created out of these hands by our maker, and I have some really good stuff to tell you. some really joyful stuff. But to accept the joyful stuff, when I asked the question, I had to be ready to see the bad stuff too. And I'm not going to dwell on anything like super bad, but you have to be able to acknowledge that you can't ignore evil and pretend that it doesn't exist. You can't let it give you anxiety. You can't let it give you pressure and then turn on CNN and this movie and that movie and then expect that pressure to go away, or turn to your iPhone and expect that pressure to go away. That's not how it works. It's going to apply more and more pressure. What you need to do is find some solitude. Be quiet. Be peaceful. And what I did my whole life for 37 years, from the time I was 13 to May 1st of this year, I listened to Prince Rogers Nelson music. And when I stood there the day that I passed away into that place, the questions that I answered, that I was able to answer properly, the entities or the angels or whatever it was that were questioning me, everybody was really super surprised that I knew what I knew. And like, I'm not saying I'm somebody, what I'm saying is everything that I learned, or that I stood there and learned, I told them that I learned through music. Because even before I was 13 and listening to Prince, my parents, my dad, music, everyday music, you know, he'd be mowing the lawn, which was like 3 football fields with music on in the 70s, and you didn't have headphones, you know, the music was on, but you couldn't hear it, but everybody else did. So music, it saved my life. You know, he was an alcoholic and everything, so the music was on 24/7. You know, comedies and shows in between. But I'm saying that's the good part is, when I answered the questions, it was the music, because through the music, I heard the answers to like life. I would hear, it would move me in ways that, and you know, and that's why they say, you know, music tames the savage beast, you know, because it's there, and that's why it's been actually taken out of the world currently, in a sense. You guys know that when this COVID came in, you notice that one of the things that, well, all the things that have been happening have just been control, control, control. That's also what was told to me as the entire plan when I died. Amongst other things, I was worthy enough to hear this story, and I don't remember it all the right way all the time. It had to do with remembering where my soul came from and who I am, because I've been trying to tell this story for about half a year, and it keeps coming out wrong, I think, but because I'm not sure, but I'm trying to figure out what I need to do to make that right, because a lot of the stuff that's going on is like right around the corner. One moment. Sometimes I'm going to pause the video and come back and start talking about something else, because I lose my train of thought a lot trying to tell the story. I promise, if you listen, there's going to be like something happen, like a holographic perpetration or something on, I believe, June 7th and or July 6th. I've experienced, like I said, maps that I write in my sleep, because of something, and I'll bounce around with the story, but it'll make sense. I'm going to show you how the NWO, okay, New World Order. Some people have heard of it, some people haven't. Some refer to it as the Illuminati, the evil forces that are in the world that some acknowledge and some don't. If you know of it and you don't acknowledge it, as long as you know that sex traffickers and baby rapers and people that buy and sell bodily fluids from children and drink blood out of their very bodies and fontanels, a little soft spot in their head. Think I just want to mention fontanel and fentanyl, how close they are because of the vowels. Now, I said that for a reason, because we as human beings have had a fraud perpetrated on us, unlike you could possibly imagine. Maybe some of you can. I'm not going to stay too far on the negative, but I just want to say that if you have any kind of biblical foundation, or if you don't, the Bible teaches of a curse that was put upon people by God because of Adam and Eve biting an apple. I mean, that's the way they tell the story. But any person who has done their due diligence into actually looking outside the fact that they really believe all the animals went 2 by 2 onto a boat. I'm sorry, I don't mean to insult. It's just that sometimes I have to be sarcastic to get over it myself and to talk about it. So I don't mean to offend. Forgive me if I did. It's a nice story. It's like being read Goodnight Moon over and over and over again. Or, you know, Jack Sprat or Jack and the Beanstalk. You read the same fairy tale over and over and over again to people, they're bound to believe it. And that's what's been done with the Bible. Or at least that's what they attempted to do. And it's been pretty successful at. Now, what I believe, and I guard my lips, I believe I was told that the certain powers that are ruled under the name NWO would include the Vatican, all your governments, every one of them. The Bible tells of a time of completion, a time when things will come to an end as they are. The way that the Bible has been led to confuse people, it leaves most people scratching their heads going, man, I don't know what's going to happen. But I did hear that there was some dude named Jesus who was going to come and, like, I don't know, save us or rapture us, or said that we could wait for or something. And yeah, he's the one that went and died on the cross and appeared 3 days later, only nobody believed him. So that guy's, no, that's what they say. That's what they say. They also say, hey, diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. I've done my research beyond the Bible. I've done a lot of it. I've been hand walked into a lot of it. I've been doing since, this is my same Bible I had since 1999. It's literally falling apart and covered with tears and coffee and everything else. I do have my other true Hebrew Bible downstairs with both translations. I also would study books like Taming Chaos. I started reading this in 2013. Rav P.S. Berg it was by. It started explaining things in a way that related, like, I was like, when I started learning about the Kabbalah and stuff, it's exciting. Drinking the words, eating the words, they're like, they fill you up with truth. Because they explain, there's a lot of teachers that I can mention later on, because I don't know their names right now, but the words, they fill up your soul. They fill up all the answers that you might have, and I'm sure all our souls are the same, so I'm sure deep down they all have the same questions. But anyway, I'm trying to save our souls, you guys, and putting mine out there, even though I know some people who know me are going to be like, whoa, what happened to Elizabeth? Well, wait till you find out what happened to Elizabeth, because anyway, there's some hard things to say. The New World Order on April 30th of this year, 2021, There was an article about the city of Maroon where they said there was a stampede of some people dancing. Meron, Meron. Now, I know I mentioned that when I passed away that Prince had opened the door. The very first person that I saw was Prince. And anyway, what I started to notice was, or put together, was told to me, because I've been researching the death investigation as well, because I have loved and listened since I was 13, beyond what's rational for most people. I'm sure. In fact, I know he told me it's me. I just listened. I listened. The music tell this. Listen, the words. It's not about what was played on the radio. It's about most of the songs that didn't get played on the radio because the radio was controlled by the media you got at New World Order. So even though Prince was sold to be Mr. I'm doing it my way, but I'm a little crazy and I'm going to write slave on my face and I'm also going to change my name to a symbol, they wanted for that image to be confusing. It's all for a purpose, and everything that I'm saying is going to relate to each other. I promise. Uh, anyway, the city of Maroon on April 30th of this year posted an article, and I attend this class online that was talking about this situation in Maroon. They called it a stampede from all these reveling, dancing people or something. Well, before I get into what a disgusting, awful thing that was, I also want to mention the death investigation of the Prince Rogers Nelson. If people are out there that might be familiar with it, this isn't like going to be all about Prince. It isn't like that, but it is a big piece of the puzzle. The puzzle, yeah. Marone Bakir and Kirk Johnson, Phaedra Ellis Lampkins, the Lamb, Slain Lamb. Marone Bakir and Kirk. So Marone breaks down to New World Order in code, and I'm going to show you. This is the first time I'm doing something like this on film, okay? So we're going to have to deal with the angle. The way that I've been shown to see is like a code. That's why they call it coding, learning coding. So I'm not going to do that now, but the Hebrew alphabet has 22 letters. Our American alphabet has 26. They added 4 letters, and they've instilled code all throughout as they broke down the building blocks of our language, okay? Now, that's a different video, but within the M, it's like a master letter. So you can actually see an N, then there's the E, and then it comes back this way as new, like so, in mirror writing, upside down. I know you can't see that, but it does. N-E-W, back and forth. Now, world is upside down. W in mirror writing. Sorry, that's not good writing at all. So work in progress, folks. The M goes upside down, like so. The letters are interchangeable based on code. I'm not doing a very good job of showing that to you, but that's the way that I see. And I don't like writing the words down anyway because they feel evil. Now, what was told to me, that wasn't a very good example, I'm sorry. I can see it, but every time I seem to go explain it to people, it's very hard to do, and plus you couldn't really see it. But please understand that I know you guys don't know me, but the things that I'm going to show you, holograms, have been used like, whoa, on us. Like, it's actually alien technology. That's what was disclosed to me. The creator himself, the prince person that I met, um, showed himself to be all things. The creator, like, it was Prince in the, like, a body form, like we knew him to be, but he also showed me himself as what we would come to know as, like, one was like E.T., like, like, just like pretty much like E.T. on TV, pretty much like that. Really cute, makes you want to pick him up and squeeze him and kiss his cheeks. Then another form that he showed me was like a real tall, white, like, not really a form per se, but it is real tall, and then sort of bulbous in the face right here. And then with big, kind of dark eyes that went into the universe, you know? And then, so that's what I mean by a form, but not a form. And then he was like that, and then I think I remember him showing me that he was also like the Milky Way. I would always meditate uh, and look into Orion. I always focused on the belt, the 3 stars. Like, they always just sucked me in. I even had it as a screensaver on my computer, and I would look into it, and it would see like a woman's womb. And if you go, they call it Nebula 42, Nebula 42. If you look it up on NASA, the Trojan Horse website, it'll be Nebula 42. Anyway, I would meditate under there, and so when he showed me that his eyes went into like everywhere, um, and then he told me, and this is kind of just coming to me too, that when you and I, if you go online or look at images of the Milky Way, it's just so beautiful, and they show it as this big round thing or whatever, and say we're spinning in it or something. I'm not really sure, but because I don't listen to lies, I only listen to the truth. I try to very hard. So what he told me was that he, as the creator, had access to all of that, which is why it was showing it to me. and and it just, it takes my speech away because I can see it. And then